A musical tribute to the Oregon Ducks and Gang Green. Here it is, courtesy John Dahl.
Beneath the California sun, the mighty Ducks of Oregon had the Trojans on the run out into the street. The once proud Trojan marching band fell silent in the grandstand. All of the whining fans began to softly weep. Well, the Huskies ran onto the field, looking for an easy meal. The howling became a squeal with each and every lick. Napoleon met Waterloo, Malachi and Sherman too. Stumbled in the dog do, and Wheaton made that pick. There was gangrene in the backfield. There was gangrene all along the line. From the north to the south, leaving every dog foaming at the mouth. Well, the Wildcats flew into town, walking tall and feeling proud, talking tough and being loud with egos all ablow. That desert swarm began to swoon that cold October afternoon. The Quackers took that leather prune and ran it down their throat. There was gangrene in the backfield. There was gangrene all along the line. Gangrene was spreading from the north to the south, leaving every Wildcat foaming at the mouth. Well, a doctor came from way back east to diagnose that strange disease affecting every football team that played upon that turf. He studied all the food they ate, the nights before and the games they played. When all was said and done that day, this is what he learned. There was gangrene in the backfield, gangrene all along the line. Gangrene was spreading with the whole defense, a most painful experience. Joe Paterno's litany to the lions of the Nittany at best contain a remedy against that awful plague. But knock down all the fighting men throughout the mighty Pac-10, both to their knees and on their heads, and left them feeling vague. There was gangrene in the backfield. There was gangrene all along the line. Spreading through the whole defense, a most painful experience. A most painful experience. The most painful gangrene.
Rose Bowl. Oregon tight end Josh Wilcox said, and I quote, "It's like when you're the littlest kid and you end up with the biggest cookie. And we got the big cookie." End of quote. Coming up, we'll return to Eugene. Come New Year's Day, will the last one out of town turn out the lights? Please return your trays to an upright and locked position. It's time for the Alaska Airlines Airplay of the Week. You knew it had to be this play. Danny O'Neill found Dino Filia on this inside screen pass. Dino galloped 19 yards for the winning score and a trip to Pasadena. Congrats to Misters O'Neill and Filia, who connected on the Alaska Airlines Airplay of the Week. And we'll see that play again because it was indeed part of that drive, the drive, as they call it in Eugene, to go on to the Rose Bowl. Oregon, officially for the books, finished 9-3 in the regular season, 7-1 in the Pac-10, 17-13 over Oregon State. Now, let's go to that drive, but prior to that is when Danny O'Neill hurt his head. He hit his head on the carpet here.
Well, the rap on Danny O'Neill is he couldn't come from behind and bring his team back from defeat. He's done it 3 times this year, Washington, Arizona, and in this game against Oregon State. Actually got his bell rung and came back against Kristen McLemore, who also had an injury, hurt his hand, got carted off into the Corvallis campus, People are throwing things at him. He comes back, comes out with 2 great plays here to set him up for the winning score to Dino Filia.
And this was a thing of beauty, too. And how many times have we seen this type of play used in critical situations in the Pac-10 this year, or all of college football, as he comes through with it? Just a great, great performance by the Ducks, doing what they had to do to win. Danny O'Neil, no, not great numbers for the game, but the drive, 4 out of 5. He did it when the time was here.
Brought the team back.
Yeah.
O'Neil's a winner.
Yeah, and maybe he can do it against Penn State. Who knows? 37 years since a Rose Bowl, the first ever outright Pac-10 title. And Coach Rich Brooks finally gets the championship in his 18th try.
Oregon's victory over Oregon State ended 37 years of frustration and earned the Ducks a trip to Pasadena. Coach Rich Brooks enjoyed the ride of a lifetime. The smell of roses was sweet for a team and school that had waited so long.
This team has waited a long time to say Rose Bowl. We did it straight out. We didn't have to let, hope USC loses. We won the Rose Bowl. We did. Didn't have to rely on anybody else. We took it in our own hands and we got it.
2 days later, thousands of students endured frigid temperatures to wait for their chance to buy Rose Bowl tickets. Homework was put on the back burner, while the front burner was put to good use as well. Rose Bowl fever had reached a fever pitch, at least for most.
It's fun. It's a fun experience. Everybody here's in a joyous mood. They're freezing, but they're having fun.
Oregon fans had not had this much fun in almost 4 decades. Waiting in line a little longer didn't seem to matter. In Eugene, Todd McKim for Pac-10 Preview.
Thanks, Todd. I think Todd McKim has been there at Oregon as long as Rich Brooks has. He deserves to go to Pasadena, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of kind things said, Dick Tomey, the head coach at Arizona and very close friend of Rich Brooks, had this to say about the Ducks going to Pasadena.
Well, of course, we'd like to be going, but failing that, as we did, I'm thrilled to see him get that opportunity because he's coached for 18 years. He's a great coach. He hasn't gotten the recognition, I think, that some others in the country at more glamorous programs have gotten, but has the same capabilities, if not better, and I think their players did a great job. They deserve to go. They took on all comers and beat them, and there's no question that they're the best team.
I guess this means Rich buys when they golf in the off-season now. That was the good news. Now the bad news. They got to take on the #2 team in the nation, Penn State, at 10-0, 7-0, #1 in every offensive category in the Big Ten.
Oh, they have a potent offense. Harry Collins is having a phenomenal year. And, of course, it's nice to throw a 5-yard pass and have an 80-yard touchdown to Bobby Ingram here. And then Kijana Carter, of course, he's averaging over 7 yards a carry, and he's got some tremendous ability. So that balance that they've got pass and run is something that's very difficult to stop.
Collins still one of the competitors for the Heisman race. Kijana Carter was, but a gentleman in Colorado is kind of taking care of that in terms of the yardage for tailbacks anyway. Now, as far as common opponents, let's get on common ground, and there is some. First of all, Penn State and Oregon both played Iowa. Now, Penn State beat Iowa at home, 61-21. Oregon beat them in Eugene as well. Point spread, somewhat similar. Now, Penn State defeated USC at home, but Oregon went down to Los Angeles to play USC and beat them. So, what do you think, Paul?
Could be close. USC was a better team when Oregon played them than when Penn State played them the second game of the year. So, I think it's, the numbers match up fairly even.
I'm telling you, at the end of November, right now, take the points, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Take those points and run to the bank.
Defensively.
Defensively. Well, it's hard to tell. Donnie Edwards had a great year. I know you like him, but I'm going to pick the Oregon defense. I'm going to weasel out there, but I like them as a whole.
Okay. Coach of the year is a lock. Yeah, the man lives in Eugene, and his name is Rich Brooks because he goes to his first Rose Bowl in 18 years for him in his career at Oregon.
He did a great job at keeping his team focused down the stretch, and you've got to give him the credit there.
And our congratulations to the Oregon Ducks, too. I think everybody in the Pac-10 is happy about it. And I want to thank Paul McDonald, I want to thank our producer, Steve Woodruff, and I want to thank Rob George, our director, and the entire crew of Pac-10 Preview for putting the show together. We'll see you in 1995.
Over top, Filia on the inside, gets out of the 10, he's going to score! He scores! He scores a touchdown! Dino Filia has put Oregon on top!
One of sport's greatest landmarks, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, the Promised Land. Welcome honored guests in the Magic Kingdom. The Ducks started their day off with the biggest game next to the Rose Bowl, a matchup with the Disney characters. O'Neal under center takes the snap, hands to Whittle. Ricky gets a block from Goofy and scores. Wait a minute, a flag on the play. Donald Duck, of all people, nullifies the touchdown. Mysteriously, Penn State never showed up for its matchup with Team Disney, so I think the Ducks get a win by forfeit. The Lions were present at the next round of pomp and circumstance. The two teams were given the royal welcome by the Disney folks. Just another day at the happiest place on earth.
Well, I've been here over 50 times, no doubt. You know, I used to come here all the time.
Yeah, it's a different spin. I wouldn't just come here just if it wasn't for this. This is big time. I've been here once, but just walking around. But these rides, I don't know about the ride. Yeah, I am.
I'm going to have some fun. I might take my granddaughter or grandson on a ride. You know, maybe the teapots or something, you know, really exciting.
Yeah, teacups, that type of stuff. Stay away from those.
It's a big deal, and it shows, it kind of puts in perspective what kind of accomplishment we've done. You know, we accomplished a great deal, and I think this team deserves this kind of attention.
If Disneyland didn't dazzle the Ducks, Universal Studios did. Oregon met its marks and bombshells.
Ah, the Ducks there. As I've always said in the past there, if you say the secret word, the Ducks will come down and the Ducks will win. Now remember, you have to know the secret word, though. It's a very special word, and if the Ducks do come home, you'll see Lion on the plate, not Duck this year.
And what's the secret word?
Oh, the secret word is Universal Studios Hollywood, because we're going to show them how to win.
Aren't these good-looking guys?
They're wonderful-looking guys, and they're so big and strong and handsome. I think I'm just about the luckiest girl in the world today, don't you? Bye. Mwah.
Yes, and I just want to let all of you know, in your honor, Universal Studios Hollywood is proud to present its first annual duck calling contest. Give us your best duck call. 1, 2, 3. Yo, duck! Quack, 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 quack.
Hey, ducky, ducky, ducky.
Quack, quack, quack.
The kid wants.
But Universal didn't know what it was getting into. Duck fullback Dan Mead stole the show.
I'm the former president of the United States.
I love presidents.
Hi, ho, Timothy Gerard here, reporting from Universal Studios, and I have many, many cameras on me right now. I'm sitting here with Marilyn Monroe, and I'm wondering where Miss Piggy is at this moment. This is Robin Leach. Until next time, champagne wishes and caviar dreams.
It just seems like I think I need to get another hit me 3 times to let the party start. All right, Ducks, we made it to Universal. Now it's time for us to shine. Hit me 3 times. What do you say, Ducks? What do you say, Ducks? What do you say, Ducks? Yeah!
Hey, what do you think about all this green Oregon Duck stuff?
Yeah, I think they're going to win the Rose Bowl, if you ask me. In fact, I'm wearing the team colors.
How about that green tongue? Unbelievable. And Dan Mead, maybe he needs an agent.
Sign him up, a man of 1,000 voices. You know, well, the Ducks have proved very, very good in the entertainment side of things and very good at the dinner table,
That's
Steve.
right, much better than Penn State in the annual Beef Bowl at Lowry's Restaurant in Beverly Hills. Like royalty, Ducks were greeted for all-you-can-eat prime rib at Lowry's, a posh Beverly Hills restaurant. Danny, are you hungry?
I'm starved. I haven't eaten since breakfast.
Jeff Sherman, how much are you going to eat?
As much as I can. I'm starving. We haven't eaten since early this morning.
Beef met beef, with the key question, which duck would make the biggest pig out of himself?
We were having a discussion on the bus coming over, and Tossie and Hardin are pretty large and they can eat a lot, but the odds-on favorite for tonight's consumption record will be Rob Williams.
Brooks said that Rob Williams is going to eat more than you. Is that true?
Hey, if you've seen Rob Williams eat, you'd know it's for sure. Rob's an intense player and intense competitor, so he's ready to perform today.
What about you, though? There's something deep down in you. There's pride, isn't there?
There's a little pride, but have to show some constraints. Otherwise, we'll be the slowest O-line in the history of Oregon at the Rose Bowl.
Coach Brooks says Rob Williams is going to eat more than you and Hardin. Are you up for that challenge?
Yep. I don't think they got nothing on me.
Coach Brooks says you're going to do it. You're going to eat more than Hardin or Malapai.
Whoa. Nope. I don't know about that one.
When it was all said and done, out of nowhere, redshirt freshman Kyle Strait, 8 and 8. 7 slabs of prime rib. Does it take great focus to eat 7 pieces of meat?
I'm just hungry.
When will you stop being hungry?
After this one. And dessert.
Score the first points for the Ducks and their entourage. Oregon consumes 700 pounds of meat. Penn State a paltry 550 pounds. And like any good Duck fan, I sweated it out with the players. Bite by miserable bite.
Mwah! Bon appetit. Boy, that prime rib tastes good. I think I got to go on a diet when we get back. Losing a button.
I think you popped a button. That's right, yeah.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back,
We're going to go back in time to the Ducks' last visit to this hallowed ground.
Season for those Ducks, right, Mike and Joe? Yeah, congratulations on winning the Pac-10 Conference, and good luck at that Rose Bowl.
well, we're even born yet.
That's for sure. You know, maybe they got a plaque or something around here that'll give us the answer to that question. Let's take a hike.
You know, I wonder who they played in that game.
I don't know, but I think they lost.
No, I think they won that game.
No, I think they lost.
I'm pretty sure
it was
they
like
won
24
that game
to 13.
by maybe a field goal or something.
I think it was Wisconsin.
I think a field goal difference.
January 1st, 1958. Eisenhower was president. Gas was 24 cents a gallon. Pat Boone was on the top of the charts. And the Ducks were in the Rose Bowl for the first time in 38 years. Sound familiar? Well, so did the matchup in Pasadena, Oregon and top-ranked Ohio State, or as the experts called it, a mismatch.
The treatment we received from the Los Angeles press, I mean, they just said it was the greatest mismatch in the history of the Rose Bowl. And we predicted, as I forget, it was either 20 or 30 points underdogs in the game. And that always irritated me. It certainly irritated the players. And I think it maybe helped us to get in the frame of mind and say, hey, maybe they may be pretty good, but we've got a few things that we can do ourselves.
Tied at 7 in the third, the Ducks actually had a shot at the lead, but missed a field goal. Ohio State would make a field goal later and hold on for a 10-7 win to avert what would have been the biggest upset in the 44-year history of the Rose Bowl. The goalpost came down that afternoon, pieces of which reside in the U of O archives these days. So do other reminders of the biggest game in Oregon football history. Until tomorrow, that is. Besides Casanova, the Ducks' link between now and then is defensive line coach Joe Schaffeld, a guard on the 58 team.
It's been so long ago, really, it's kind of hard to bring back, but just the fact that you have a chance to play in the big game, you know, which when you're in high school, that is a big game, the Rose Bowl. You hear about these things, you want to do it, you dream. You know, you thought, if I could ever do that, that would be the best thing that could ever happen to me. And all of a sudden it happened, and you know, and I think you, as a player, you don't realize it that much until after the experience is over.
So when it comes to finding the inspiration to battle one of the top teams in the country, the Ducks need not look outside their program. The precedent's been set.
We were supposed to be beaten by, what, 25, 20 points, or whatever the case may be, but, you know, you can only be backed in a corner so long, and finally you have to come out fighting it. And sure, Penn State is good, but, you know, I think our kids are ready for the challenge. They're willing to meet it head on.
Well, enough of the old days. This is 1995, and the Ducks have returned.
That's right, and when we come back on Dream Season, a return to the Promised Land, we'll take a look back at the season-long journey that the Ducks took to get here.
I wish you good luck. Go get them. Pennsylvania can be taken out. We can do it. You can do it, and we're supporting you all the way. Good luck.
7 years, Oregon has seen its share of success. 12 All-Americans, 5 other bowl appearances. But each January, the Ducks and their fans have watched the New Year's football from the stands, wondering when they would smell the roses once again. As the Ducks took the field in 1994, they were met by disappointment. Losses to Hawaii and then Utah put them at 500 through the end of September. Fans grumbling and wondering if the rest of the season would follow suit. The players, they had another idea.
We need to put it together. We need to pull together more as a team and quit counting ourselves. If we quit counting ourselves, we'll be all right.
Philyaw. Touchdown, Oregon. From the end zone. Steps up. Still looking. Caught and dropped. Sets up, looks, throws toward the corner of the end zone. It is intercepted. The Ducks have the ball. Kenny Wayne's going to score. Touchdown. And Neal's going to go back to throw the ball. Comes the blitz. Throw the ball toward the corner of the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown. Josh Wilcox. He's in the 20. Nobody's going to get him. Touchdown. Ricky Whittle. O'Neal against the blitz to Philyaw. Philyaw has a block. Touchdown. Oregon.
Smell the roses, baby. They smell good. Roses smell good.
It took us 37 years to get back to the granddaddy of them all, but we're here in Pasadena for the 1995 Rose Bowl. Hello, everybody. I'm Paul Swangard. Hope you'll stay with us for the next hour. We should have some fun getting ready for the matchup between Oregon and Penn State in this Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all, because there's so much more than this football game to enjoy if you make the trek to Southern California. In the next hour, we'll try to give you a glimpse of what's happened down here and also what's happened to the Ducks on this amazing season, their first outright Pac-10 championship. It's going to be fun as we get ready for the Rose Bowl. A lot of people helping us out here in Southern California, including Jim Hobbs, who joins us from Orange County.
Thanks, Paul. You know, everybody's been talking about how long it's been since the Oregon Ducks have traveled down to Pasadena. 1958. However, Penn State, the last time they made it down to the Rose Bowl, the early 1920s. We'll talk with the Penn State fans about joining the Big Ten Conference, playing the big game, and the possibilities of winning a national championship.
Thanks very much, Matt. A lot to cover in this next hour. First up, we'll take a break, but as we go to each break during our Rose Bowl special, we'll take a look back at one of the great moments here of the 1994 season for the Oregon Ducks. Don't go away. There's a lot more to come.
9-yard line. Graziani to lefty. This time we'll get straight ahead. That's Philyaw. And look at the hole to the right side. Philyaw to the 20. And look at him use his blocker. Touchdown, Oregon.
Are down here before January 2nd when they strap it on against Penn State here in the Rose Bowl. Thought we'd take a look back on the week that was and some of the sights and sounds of the Ducks' experience here in Southern California. It's been a whirlwind week for the Ducks since touching down in Burbank last Monday. Christmas was short-lived, and some players were actually happy to see the holiday over.
I was there. I didn't get my new car, but...
What do you expect this week?
Intensity and a lot of hoopla, but other than that, let's get ready to play.
Coach Rich Brooks was all smiles for his first Rose Bowl visit and was even happier when his entire squad had arrived at the team hotel in Pasadena. Players looking forward to the fun in the days ahead, but not overlooking what looms ahead at the Rose Bowl Monday afternoon.
It's going to be tough to put away the hoopla and all that, but we're going to have good practice, and when it's practice time, we'll enjoy the rest when it's time to enjoy stuff.
There are plenty of chances for the Ducks to have a little fun. The folks at Disneyland made sure of that, letting the team loose in the park on Tuesday afternoon. There was the perfect ride for just about everyone on the team, including the head coach.
Yeah, I'm going to have some fun. I might take my granddaughter or grandson on a ride, you know, maybe the teapots or something, you know, really exciting.
If the visit to the Magic Kingdom whetted their appetites for more, it was filled Wednesday at Lowry's in Beverly Hills. The Beef Bowl, as it's called, carving out pounds of prime rib to anyone who wanted it, even if some stomachs were a little finicky.
I can't handle all that red. I got to make my stuff well done. So I'm about to order me another end piece here.
A little later and a little heavier, the Ducks made a visit to the back lot at Universal Studios, another traditional stop on the fast-paced Rose Bowl tour. And the fun didn't end at the amusement parks. Oregon may have never been more relaxed for practice. Even the head coach convinced having a little fun at workouts with plenty of hard work in between will help keep this squad loose for Penn State. We'll see if the plan works at the Rose Bowl.
Hey, hi, Coach.
Obviously, everybody involved with the program, including the fans, having a lot of fun down here in Southern California. Of course, it's Oregon versus another team, and that's Penn State. Ducks haven't been here since the 50s. Well, it's the 20s, the last time that Penn State came to the Rose Bowl. For more on the Nittany Lions and their visit here to Southern California, we join Jim Hobbs in Orange County.
Thanks, Paul. You know, fans from Penn State flying in from thousands of miles away to Southern California, and yes, for good reason. The Nittany Lions are in their first Rose Bowl since before you could fly to see the game. Costa Mesa, California has turned into Nittany Lion country this week thanks to these invaders. Joe Paterno's boys are in the Rose Bowl, and the fans are eating it up.
Hey, you can never get enough of a good thing. You know when your mother baked a chocolate cake and you ate it all? Same thing.
Most of the Penn State faithful have been followers.
Since we've been alive, I think.
But no one here was alive to see Penn State's only other Rose Bowl berth back in 1923. And by the way, these fans praised the Penn State boss now. You'd think Paterno coached that squad.
He gets the cream of the crop. He's the cream of the crop. And you know he's going to be there from one year to the next.
He just makes sure that they work together as a team, basically. No, as you can tell by the jerseys, just blue and white, no names on the back of the jerseys. It's quite a tradition. They like to uphold that tradition.
Well, the reason Penn State's making only their second Rose Bowl appearance, it's only their second year in the Big Ten. The two conference champs agreed to meet each other in Pasadena way back in 1947. And since that time, the Nittany Lions have had how many losing seasons?
One. They were 5-6. I remember, well, it was right after the one bowl year.
With all this talk about teamwork and tradition, do the Ducks stand a chance against a perennial national powerhouse on Monday?
Penn State's going to win. You bet. No doubt about it.
You really don't know what they have. You know, I guess on any given day out here, anybody could beat anybody.
I mean, just because Las Vegas wrote them off doesn't mean that the team has. I was just over with the team, and they are serious.
Do the Ducks stand a chance?
Sure they have a chance.
Anyone could.
Anything can happen on a given day, but hopefully not this won't be the day.
Well, the spread for the big game still remains heavily in favor of Penn State, but something we've got to remember, Paul, the last time the Nittany Lions played in the Rose Bowl, their only time they played, they didn't win. Let's hope the Ducks can keep that streak alive on Monday afternoon.
Thanks very much, Jim. Everybody having a good time down here in Southern California for the Rose Bowl. We'll step aside now, take a break. We'll be back with much more of the Rose Bowl special. Right now, another Oregon Duck moment. Stay with us.
Ewer, you're going to go back to throw the ball. Sets up, looks, throws toward the corner of the end zone. It is intercepted! Intercepted! The Ducks have the ball! Down to the 35, the 40. Kenny Wheaton's going to score! Kenny Wheaton is going to score! 20, the 10, touchdown! Kenny Wheaton on the interception! The most improbable finish to a football game!
Southern California to the Rose Bowl has stirred up a lot of old memories for a lot of Oregon fans about some past visits down here to the area. For more on that, we join Tracy Berry.
Think today's college football players are tough? Think again. At least when they body slam one another, they're decked out in high-tech gear. Back in the early 1900s, the Oregon football team scrimmaged pretty much in street clothes with some flimsy pads. Oh, sure, they had helmets. You can still find a sample in the university archives. But up until 1935, they were optional.
There were other pads
shoulder pads, hip pads, rib pads that were made of bone. And when you think of a rib pad being bone, what if the bone got broken? And they went to very, very stiff pieces of leather for the pads eventually.
The 1916 Oregon squad, helmets and all, were one of the toughest teams around. The Lemon Yellow opened the season with a thumping of Willamette, 97-zip, then rolled up a string of victories to gain the Pacific Coast Conference title and a berth to the third-ever Rose Bowl. There, on New Year's Day, 1917, the Webfoots scored a decisive victory against both the University of Pennsylvania and the Eastern Sports Writing Establishment. In the words of one reporter, Penn was outplayed, outlasted, and outwitted. The 14-0 win signaled the rise of football power in the West and continued the fashion of helmets optional. Hugo Bezdek was the Ducks' head coach. The following year, America plunged into the First World War. Bezdek and many of his Oregon players joined the military and played Rose Bowl football with the Mare Island Marines and Camp Lewis Army, what were known as service games. After the war, Bezdek took a job with Penn State, helping the Easterners reestablish their football prowess. In the early part of the century, the Oregon squad slipped and slid its way around muddy Kincaid Field, behind the administration building on campus. But midway through the 1919 season, they headed for new digs, Hayward Field, at the corner of 15th and Agate Streets. Those in charge named the place for then-team trainer Bill Hayward, who missed the announcement at halftime because he was in the locker room taping an injured player's ankle. Perhaps inspired by the dedication of their new stadium, the Oregon team again compiled an impressive record, and on New Year's Day 1920 was again invited to the Rose Bowl. These were heady days in Southern California, and the Rose Bowl teams were whisked off to Hollywood, where the booming silent film industry was attracting a throng of acting hopefuls. The players visited studio backlots and sound stages and met with the stars and starlets. So, for that matter, did members of their entourage, including Professor Howe, an otherwise dignified English teacher who clearly found a little bit of heaven. Game day was not quite so blissful. Oregon faced Harvard, an Ivy League powerhouse dubbed by the press as the East's last best hope. One sports writer proclaimed they could stage the fall of Babylon on New Year's Day with the original cast and find before them only an empty house. The Oregon fans cheered on the green and yellow, shouting the Oski Wow Wow and other popular yells, but Harvard got the game's only touchdown. The Webfoots had 6 scoring opportunities, but could only get 2 drop kicks through the goalposts. A final kick went a foot wide. Harvard 7, Oregon 6. Christmas 1957, and Duck coach Len Casanova is leading his team to Pasadena to meet the top-ranked Buckeyes from Ohio State. But the official invite fails to mention the bitterness that will greet them when they arrive. For amidst all of the floral pageantry, there are some sour grapes. The big California schools aren't even sure that small colleges like Oregon belong in the Pacific Coast Conference.
I mean, they said it was the greatest mismatch in the history of the Rose Bowl.
We were huge underdogs. I think it's 21 points, matter of fact. Nobody thought we had a chance at all, and except for us.
Then University President O. Meredith Wilson traveled with his family to Pasadena. At service club functions, he endured criticisms of the Oregon squad till California's governor intervened.
To say very graciously, this is a very disappointing thing to me because Oregon is one of our best neighbors.
Oregon running back Willie West felt the barbs, but says they had an unintended effect.
I think just made our team more determined to overcome the odds and prove that we belonged in the Rose Bowl.
On game day, Coach Casanova called his players together.
I said, all I want to do is be proud of you, and I certainly was proud of the team in there. We outdowned them, outgained them in yards and everything else.
The school's final drive for the goal fell short. The Ducks lost 10-7.
But the kids just fought their hearts out all the way through, and you couldn't ask for a better effort.
Thanks very much, Tracy. Of course, we're looking forward to some more history being made on the Rose Bowl turf come Monday afternoon. We'll step aside now for a break, but before we go, another Oregon football moment.
And Ondale's going to go back to throw the ball. Comes to blitz. Throw the ball. Throw the corner of the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown! Josh Wilcox! Josh Wilcox! To throw, a lot of time, steps up, throws, hit as he throws, go to the end zone, open and caught, touchdown! Kristen McLemore!
Portland State was supposed to be a tune-up, and that's exactly how this one finished. Outmanned and undersized, the Portland State Vikings would surrender 21 first-half points and never seriously threaten.
That's a great catch, Jerry. I don't care who it's against, Portland State or UCLA.
But the fun was short-lived. A long flight to Hawaii was even longer on the field as Hawaii buried the Ducks 36-16. The Rainbows established a running game and took advantage of 5 Duck turnovers. It was also the last ever football game for Corey Murphy. The junior wideout suffered a neck injury that left him with no other choice but to head for the sidelines for good.
I want to say that I do love the game of football. I love it more than I ever thought I really did. I kind of figured it out. But one thing I do understand is that there's a whole lot more to life than football.
Things got no better when Utah came to town. Behind a hot quarterback, Mike McCoy, the Utes traveled 309 yards through the air. And even when the Ducks thought they knew what to expect,
And they're going to run the fake right up the middle, and this one may be touchdown. Oh, my!
they got the unexpected. And as expected, unhappy fans were grumbling when the final whistle concluded a 34-16 flop.
The season's too far, to get down. We're not going to get down at all. We still feel we have a great team. So we're just going to come back next week and, even it out, make it 2-2, hopefully going into the Pac-10s.
Next up, big bad Big Ten member Iowa. And with their backs against the wall came tumbling down on the Hawkeyes. Ricky Whittle returned from a hamstring injury to register 3 touchdowns, and signs of gangrene began to appear as the Ducks registered their 2nd win of the season. And as quickly as the season went sour, things appeared to be back on track and rolling into the Pac-10 season.
We showed up today both offensively and defensively, and we got the W. So just gotta try to get the same thing down in Los Angeles next week.
This time we'll get straight ahead. That's Villiard. And look at the hole to the right side. Villiard to the 20, and look at him use his blocker. Touchdown, Oregon.
With Danny O'Neill on the sidelines, the Ducks took their traveling show to number 19 Southern Cal, a place they hadn't won in 23 years. Sophomore quarterback Tony Graziani answered the bell, and he rung up the Trojans for 287 yards. And again, another indication this team had more potential than they showed early.
And I think you could judge the heart of this football team, the togetherness of this football team out here today. It was a real gutty performance. We've got some people banged up, playing hurt, but boy, they gave everything they had today.
Unfortunately, the big step forward took 2 steps back. It was a trip to Pullman, a stingy Cougar defense that ranked tops in the nation. Trainers got as much airtime as the players. Tony Graziani suffered an ankle injury, bringing a rusty Danny O'Neill from the bench. The result, Oregon was the ugly duckling, 21-7.
To apply the final hit, another loss of 5.
Thanks very much, Matt. The Ducks still weren't thinking about a trip to Southern California 6 games through the season, but ahead of them they had a 4-game homestand, and if they could get through that one with 4 wins, things would definitely be different.
Hanged up, but undefeated in league play. With starter Dave Barr out, the Duck defense showed no mercy for second-string QB Kevin McGonigal. Whittle and Filyaw combined for more than 300 yards rushing. Oregon improves their record to 4-3 with a 23-7 victory.
Yeah, it's big. I mean, we're 2-1 now. We're back in the conference race. So that's a big boost. I think we got a little momentum going into next week's game.
More than 44,000 showed up for the collision with 9th-ranked Washington. It was a perfect script. Trailing in the 4th quarter, the Ducks drive 98 yards and take a 4-point lead. Washington counters when they, too, drive the length of the field. They came up a few yards short.
Ewer, you're going to go back to throw the ball. Sets up, looks, throws toward the corner of the end zone. It is intercepted! Intercepted! The Ducks have the ball! Down to the 35, the 40. Kenny Wheaton's going to score! Kenny Wheaton is going to score! 20, the 10, touchdown! Kenny Wheaton on the interception! The most improbable finish to a football game!
The Ducks suddenly had thoughts of heading somewhere. It had Wheaton heading to the phone to talk to Mom.
She's okay. She knocked down a few trophies and stuff, so she's okay. I don't know. I started crying when I came off the field. My mom was with me, and she was crying too. I couldn't believe it. I had chills going down my back. It was amazing. It was a lot of fun. Biggest win I've ever been involved with.
The celebration was short-lived as the Ducks saw Arizona's Desert Swarm approaching. The Cats jumped to a halftime lead, but the second 30 was all Ducks. Arizona held to just 31 yards passing and 8 yards rushing in the second half. The game winner from Danny O'Neal to Josh Wilcox late in the fourth. And surprisingly, a glance at the standings showed Oregon on top with just 3 games to go.
Since I've been here, people have been crying and telling us how bad we are and how much they want a Rose Bowl team and how much they want wins around here. And last weekend, we beat Washington. The next day, we can't even sell out a game this week. And we got bagged on by ESPN. And I just want the fans to know, hey, if you guys are truly fans, sell this baby out tomorrow.
After a couple of big defensive performances, the O shined brightly against Arizona State. It was big play day. O'Neal and Kristen McLemore striking from 66 yards away, followed by a 67-yarder to Patrick Johnson. Arizona State was no challenge for a focused Duck squad that could smell the roses, but just didn't speak the roses.
We got Stanford and Oregon State, and then hopefully where everybody else is thinking right now, but I ain't gonna say it.
With thousands of Oregon believers making the trip south, the Ducks made Stanford a route victim from snap one. O'Neal sets a new school record with 6 touchdowns, 3 into the hands of new career TD receiver McLemore. 55-21 shot the Ducks up the polls, and 1 win away from a trip to the Rose Bowl for the first time in 37 years.
After the Hawaii loss and after the Utah, we improved every game. We improved a little bit, and we hung with it, and now everything's just gelling at the right time.
There would be nothing civil about the Civil War. Oregon State gunning for their first 5-win season since 1971. Oregon on the verge of the granddaddy of them all. A seesaw affair with OSU leading late until Dino Filia and O'Neal hook up for a 19-yard screen pass. Oregon would win the Pac-10 championship outright. The 37-year hiatus from Pasadena was over, and all the skeptics were silenced. Oregon had earned its trip to the Rose Bowl.
It smells good. Roses smell good.
And that's our look back at the 94 football season.
And O'Neal's going to go back and hand it off to Whittle. And there's a big hole. He's got it. 40-yard line. He may go. He's going to go all the way. Ricky at the 30. He's in the 20. Nobody's going to get him. Touchdown, Ricky Whittle.
What Penn State's offense has done to opposing defenses this season. The squad averaged nearly 48 points per game, and every time they had the ball, they scored a touchdown an average of every 4 minutes. It's an attack that sports all the right weapons.
Great offense. Great. I mean, they hit you from anywhere on the field, and as quick as anybody, and quicker than anybody. And, I mean, these guys are for real.
For Gang Green, the challenge is great. The game plan is very simple. Stop the Lions and Kajana Carter from establishing the run. The plan worked all season long as the Ducks shut down the likes of Knapp Kaufman of Washington and Arizona's Antoine Carter.
That is our plan, you know. It's just like going into Washington or Arizona. You know, you got to shut that down before you can do anything. Because if they can keep you off balance, and you know they're going to beat you.
You know, once we can get up there and stop the run, especially on first and second down, you know, we can put them in passing situations. And I think once we can do that, you know, we feel real confident in our secondary.
Even if the Ducks can force Kerry Collins to throw, his targets can create plenty of problems. Tight end Kyle Brady stands tall at 6'6", 260, and split end speedster Bobby Ingram averaged nearly 20 yards per catch. Oregon definitely respects the talent out wide, but won't change their coverage from what worked during the season.
We're just going to line up. We're not going to switch, you know, any game plan. From day one, we just line up, you know, right corner, left corner, and we just play from there. And wherever he come out, that's who guard him.
Anchored by a line that gave up only 5 sacks all year, the Nittany Lions rolled up an average of 519 yards every game. January 2nd, Oregon hopes the roll comes to an end.
When I close my eyes and dream about the game, I dream about the Gang Green defense shutting down the vaunted, unstoppable Penn State offense. And I think we're capable of doing it. I see it as a great game. I mean, going down to the wire. And hopefully it goes down to the end, and Gang Green, the defense is out there, and it's all on us.
Whittle is not going to get the ball. Back to throw it. Look for the corner of the end zone. McLemore's there. He got it. Touchdown!
The one thing the Ducks don't want is a high-scoring affair. But the bottom line is you can't win unless you put some points on the board.
Obviously, we know we're playing a great team, and the defense knows they're playing a great offense, but if we go out there and try to score 30 points, we're going to end up with 10. But if we go out there and just play our game, well, then maybe we'll end up with like 30 points or something.
The Oregon offense has been overshadowed by Gang Green all season long. In Happy Valley, it's just the opposite. The defense has been ignored due to the offense, which creates huge leads.
You don't do that without having a good defense. And I don't see a lot of weaknesses. They're a traditional Penn State team. They're very physical. Their linebackers play extremely well. They have a very disciplined secondary that rally very well to football and tackle very well. They don't give up big plays.
3, and O'Neill's going to go back and hand it off to Whittle. There's Big Hole. He's got it. 40-yard line. He may go. He's going to go all the way. Ricky at the 30. He's in at 20. Nobody's going to get him. Touchdown, Ricky Whittle.
Sounds simple, but Penn State can't score unless they have the ball. Therefore, Bellotti stresses the importance of running the ball.
We need to be a balanced attack and present those type of balance problems to the Penn State defense.
They have linebackers that are real good. You know, Penn State's known for linebacker U, and it'll still be known for linebacker U after this year, no matter what the offense does.
And it's not as if the offense hasn't met the challenge before.
I believe we will score early simply because we have done it against, you know, top-ranked teams, Arizona, Washington, and things like that. So going into this game, it just makes the stakes high.
You know, our kids are not tired of hearing about Penn State's offense, but want to be able to share a little bit of that limelight, and they're probably going to work a little harder to let everybody know that Oregon has an offense too.
I don't think they're weak by any standard. I think they're going to be a good defense and a good secondary for us to play against. But, you know, as anybody who's competitive would say, is that I'm going to have to do the better job, and I'm going to.
The odds makers insist they must, or they might just find this game over by halftime. Again, something they heard in early October before another trip to Southern Cal.
And we're expected to lose by 18 points in this game, and we love it. We love being an underdog and just coming up surprising a lot of people, because we know what we have here.
Dino Filias says 2 years ago he knew what they had here. He boldly predicted all of this would happen.
You know, a lot of people probably really didn't take it serious, but I was serious. And I told Coach how my junior season was going to turn out. And all I can tell you is it'll be an excited Oregon crowd after January 2nd.
Of course, everybody hyping and talking a lot about that Oregon defense against Penn State offense matchup, but the same matchup on the other side of the ball, as we've just seen, should be pretty good, too. We'll now step aside for a break, but not before we leave you with another Oregon football moment.
Ricketts near side. There's a toss to McLemore at the 5-yard line, trying to get outside. He gets into the end zone. Very similar to what Scott Frost did a few moments ago. He bounced right out of a tackle, reversed his direction, and took it in for the score.
He said 3 games into the season, he should have been run out of Eugene. Now he's being hailed as the best coach in the country. Here's more on head coach Rich Brooks.
In looking at the '94 season, I think it's a critical season in Oregon football, and I don't want anybody second-guessing where my efforts and directions are going to be.
Looking back, Rich Brooks' decision to step down as athletic director this summer was a stroke of genius.